Hello, brothers and sisters. Today I learned something. I learned that there are states where your driver's license says no name given. I didn't know this. This is new news to me. No name given is a pretty common name on commercial driver's licenses. Really? That was news to me. My entire life, I thought in America, driver's licenses were a valid form of ID that were used for pretty much everything. So, how could you possibly have no name given on the driver's license for your name? I don't understand. This might be an educational episode for some. So, let's read more. It's bad enough that blue states are violating federal law to give commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens who can't even read or speak English. Not only is that wrong on so many levels, but experience shows they have an annoying habit of causing fatal accidents. This rose to people's attention because of that horrific accident that happened in Florida. An illegal alien who had gotten a commercial driver's license out of California and couldn't read road signs and couldn't pass an English test, tried to do an illegal U-turn on the turnpike, and a van ran right into his trailer, killing the occupants of the van. That's the only reason we're really talking about this. It is a safety issue to be able to read road signs and speak English in America. That seems to me to be a significant problem, although many Democrats disagree with this assessment, weighing the balance between feeling good about themselves and saving the lives of ordinary Americans. They have chosen the former over the latter. I have to agree, it's a safety issue if you can't read road signs. Breaking, in a massively disturbing revelation, has been revealed that Democrat states such as New York and California are issuing CDLs, so commercial driver's licenses, to illegals as no given name, with Republican states like Oklahoma stating they have already apprehended over 125 illegals with such IDs. I guess it's legal in California to not give a name, and in New York to not give a name on your driver's license? That seems crazy to me. Am I wrong? So in my comments, are there legitimate reasons for being able to leave your name off of your driver's license? I don't know what they are yet. Maybe the story will say. Maybe we'll see some Democrat viewpoint. Yes, that is bad enough, at least to the simple-minded people like you and me. Yeah, on this one, I'm simple-minded. But when I learned this morning that many of the people who were being given CDLs by states like New York and California refused to reveal their first name or last name to a DMV while applying for these licenses, I went all Abigail Spangberger and embraced my rage. Tell me what you guys think. If you won't give your name when you're trying to get a driver's license, is that okay? I think they should refuse to give you a driver's license. How do they know who you are? I could think of like lots of reasons why I wouldn't want to give somebody a driver's license if they didn't tell me their name. If New York wants to hand out CDLs to illegal immigrants with no given name, that's on them. The moment they cross into Oklahoma, they answer to our laws. Oklahoma Highway Patrol performed an enforcement action along I-40 and apprehended 125 illegal immigrants. This is keeping Oklahomans safe. No given name. Really? Really? Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, really. This is a thing, apparently. Who knew? I guess if you're in California and New York, you know this. I read the explanation provided by a bureaucrat who issues licenses with no given name, and he assured his readers that this is not what it seems. Okay, so what is it? Some people, you see, do not have first or last names. Anyone know anyone who doesn't have a first or a last name? Anyone? Anyone? And since licenses require something in the first name or last name fields, they simply enter a placeholder. Really? I have never met someone with no name. Now, I guess it's possible if you have amnesia, you have forgotten your name or some other medical difficulty. But then I would argue you shouldn't be driving if you can't remember your name. Anyone else know someone with no name? Am I making too much out of this? That, my friends, is the biggest pile of bovine manure I have read today. He probably said that because he didn't want to get banned on TikTok or YouTube. But then again, the author was a bureaucrat. So what do you expect? Common sense is not a requirement for the job. No, it is not, especially not in New York or California. So California, Utah, New York, this person is saying it's legal in Utah too to not put your name on here. No given name right here. It's not just the CDLs are being handed out like candy to illegal immigrants by some states, but apparently real IDs are being provided to illegal aliens. How is that remotely possible? Hold on now. There's no way I believe you can get a real ID with no name. You got to have a name for that, right? How did an illegal immigrant get a New York State real ID they are not eligible for it. Doesn't this jeopardize the security and purpose of Real ID? I had to provide a ton of documents to validate that I was a U.S. citizen. Why would New York issue 3 different forms of ID? This seems crazy. So the standard one's not acceptable for federal purposes, can renew online or by mail. Enhanced meets Real ID requirements. What's the difference? Tell me. Maybe Enhanced is an older one that hasn't expired yet. I guess that's possible. But then the question becomes, should New York be issuing illegal aliens ID? I don't think so. I think if they're in the country illegally, we should just be deporting them. And if they are here in the country illegally and are going through, say, an asylum process, they should have federal documents that guarantee their ID, right? Why does New York issue them ID at all? I don't understand. Tell me why in the comments. So we already saw this post from the governor. How are they issuing IDs with the Real ID star when they're not even a name on it? Oh yeah, that's right. You have to have proof of lawful status. So what's going on here? Yeah, so look back here. Real ID has the star. Must have lawful status to get a Real ID. How is New York giving Real IDs to people with no name given? Seems odd to me. Are New York politicians and bureaucrats just ignoring federal law because they want to help illegal aliens? Or is somebody making money taking bribes in New York to issue Real IDs? These are states where illegal immigrants can get a driver's license with quite literally no documentation at all. They can make up a name, perhaps not even that, and address, and the state will hand over what amounts to a real version of fake documents that will give them rights and privileges that are supposed to be reserved for legal residents. That's right. You and I need various forms of documentation to board an airplane, and illegal doesn't even require a name. That's what it looks like. At least when Des Moines schools handed out a $300,000 a year job to an illegal alien with sketchy credentials and a criminal record, they got a name. Yeah, that was crazy. That guy actually also was registered as a Democrat to vote in Maryland, and he was an illegal alien. So don't tell me that there's no illegal alien voting out there. We keep finding it. So how many of these haven't we found? That's a low bar, but these days, even that is too much to ask, apparently. So here's more examples of these no-name givens. So all of these IDs have no name given, all issued in New York or California. This has got to be against federal law. Pam Bondi, you need to look into this. New York and California are issuing fake IDs. They really are. That's what this is. Used to be expensive for teenagers to get fake IDs. I wonder how much it costs illegal aliens. You have no idea how big the scope of this is. It's not just licenses in New York and California, and there are entire trucking companies registered to these no name given fellows. Crazy. All right, so what's this? Even in Texas, they think there's at least 5K of these running around in Texas. So I guess they're issuing them in Texas? Orange. They issue, but they don't provide numbers. Yeah, that's smart. The states that are the worst offenders are definitely not going to tell on themselves. But Texas, Florida, why are you guys doing this? It's absurd, the number of no-name CDLs being issued. Whenever people get a job, they are required to provide proof of eligibility to work. You likely submitted an I-9 to prove your eligibility to get a job, and I stupidly assumed that failure to prove your eligibility to work was disqualifying, or that employers would face the consequences if they hired me. Silly me. It turns out I wouldn't even need a name. A man named No Name Given Happy was convicted of a murder in Minnesota recently. This is freaking insane. Yeah, man charged with fatal stabbing at a bar in Wyndham, sentenced to 15 years. A man who legally changed his name to Happy was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Democrats portray this insanity as a reasonable and necessary measure to ensure that our country is strong and compassionate. Diversity is our strength. No, it isn't. You're insane if you think that this is a compassionate diversity thing. And besides, driving trucks is apparently a job Americans won't do. Now, there's plenty of American truck drivers. It used to be that you had to pay a forger to get fake documents. Not anymore. Blue states will do it for a small fee. So this is shocking to me, guys. Let me know what you think. Is this okay? I don't think so. I don't think you should be able to get a driver's license of any sort if you can't give a name. Everyone has a name. This seems crazy to me. This is kind of like, I think I saw, and tell me if I'm wrong, but in like the UK or in Europe, there's some places you can get driver's licenses or IDs, and if you're Muslim, you can wear a burqa and not show your face. That sounds crazy to me. I see some parallels with this with the UK. In the US, it's very common, it's very normal for people to have ID to have driver's licenses. In the UK, it's not as common. The UK doesn't have a long history of having IDs. So it's very common for people to use like a utility bill to prove who they are in the UK. Because a lot of people never drove and just didn't feel like it because they've got good mass transportation and just couldn't be bothered. They don't have the American car culture. But now they want to come out with the electronic ID that everyone has to have to get a job or to live anywhere. And I think it's just a matter of control. But if the government in New York and California can just give anybody a valid ID, then what's to stop the UK government from just giving migrants ID and saying that they're legal? I think that that's actually what they're going to do, since labor seems to be all for open borders. So no, we really shouldn't have electronic IDs, and the IDs we do have should have your name on it. And these states that are giving out these IDs need to be investigated for why. And if there's something criminal there, they need to be charged. And if it's not criminal, we need to change the law. If you're going to have a driver's license or some other form of ID, it needs to have your name on it. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Hey, if you like this, like and subscribe. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Thanks. Bye.